Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. Well, East German classic, actually quite a cult behind it. Yes, 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 you're looking at the right video. Now, this car right here must been small, underpowered, not the most reliable, but it's sure set in era in the Eastern German car market back in the days. But let's give it a proper presentation. What I have for you right now, it's a 143 scale Trabant 1.1. And this is the sedan. They call it a limousine. I love how they call it a limousine, such a small car, quite to me not really a limousine, but I guess they meant sedan. That's why they call it like that. Now, if you're familiar with the Trabant 1.1, I'm gonna read this real quick so you will have better understanding. It says the Trabant 1.1 is the fourth and final series production model of the East German Trabant series. Unlike its predecessors, which has a two-stroke engine, the Trabant 1.1 had a four-stroke engine. I said predecessors before. Predecessors, I mean, I'm sorry. It stayed in my mind when I was reading it. In total, 39,474 units of the Trabant 1.9 were made between May of 1990 to April 30th of 1991. This makes the Trabant 1.1 the rarest of them all. The most Trabant, no, I'm sorry, most Trabants 1.1 were exported to Poland and Hungary. In Germany, did not sell very well. In 1990, the 1.1 saloon was offered for a price of DM, I guess is the German um, currency back in the days, 10,887, which at the time was considered overpriced. So I guess, it was the end of the era. It was short the last of the last. Like I said before, it did not sell very well in their homeland, but it found other markets to cover the losses from not selling well in their homeland. Let's talk about the engine. Being a 1.1 is only 1.1 cc's, four cylinder, which was actually a Barkas engine. And transmissions, you only had a four-speed manual. Don't forget the Trabant 1.1. They also came as a two-door state, which they call an universal. And then they had one that's called a doorless ATV, which I seen them in pictures. They were quite strange. I wonder if anyone has information. Were they used a doorless Trabant? Like, it's not like an off-roader. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did run as an off-roader, but I don't really see much of an off-roader in a Trabant. But I guess I might be wrong. I guess I seen them in as a model car. I gotta find one. I don't have one. I'm gonna find one because I don't find that car to be maybe if they were having trouble selling a sedan, I find a doorless Trabant least in sales, at least as being a regular car user. All right, everyone. I'm gonna let it go around a few times, and I'll be right back. Okay, okay. I was actually reading also that that Trabant was powered by a carbureted, water cooled engine. So it was like the Volkswagen Beetle type. A lot of cars back in the days were water cooled, I guess. And especially I seen that a lot on the German cars back in the days. I guess that was a way to be. Back in the days, things were a lot more engine wise, a lot more simple, less no sensors, none of those stuff. Not only in Germany, everywhere in the world. Nowadays, you have 100 sensors of different types. That's why the cars break so much, so easily. Back in the days, especially in Eastern Europe, Eastern Germany, you needed simple cars, easy to work on, nothing fancy, but they needed something to be able to drive around and not be stranded on every other corner. The Trabant, I seen a couple of them. I'm not sure if there was a 1.1 or was the earlier generation. I think it was the earlier ones. And they're cute cars. I imagine obviously they're very simple, they're very small. But if it worked back then for their market, it it's okay. They needed something to travel and to go to their appointments or whatever. So that was the way to go. All right, everyone. Don't forget to comment below. Don't forget, let me know what you guys think about this car. Does it bring you memories? Do you see them in your country? Were they sold in your country? And do you actually still see them? Sometimes you see them on the roads because they're more of a classic nowadays. All right, don't forget to click and subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button. Don't forget to give me a beautiful thumbs up. And like I said, comment below. I would love to know where you guys are from and what you guys collect, what you guys have in your collection. All right, everyone. Take care of yourselves more than ever. And goodbye.